Tessa from Mama's Geeky here. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel.
But I wanted to talk to you because I loved your performance as Little Kate Bishop, Little KB.
Thank you so much.
Can you talk a little bit about what it was like when you learned that, you had the job and obviously like you couldn't really tell anyone, but how long did you actually have to keep the secret?
So I found out October of 2020. So I had to wait like over a year, but yeah, my mom's phone was actually broken at the time, so she had to put the call on speaker, so she could actually hear it. But that means that my family were out, so we all heard it at the same time, and I was so shocked and I was jumping up and down, and I was just thinking like, I'm so grateful to have this experience, and I was so excited. But yeah, I had to wait over a year to tell people, so it was kind of hard, but you know.
Not the exact same thing, but I went to visit the set of Black Widow 2 years ago, and I was supposed to be able to talk about it like 6 months after I went, and then because of COVID, I couldn't talk about it for almost 2 years.
Oh my God.
I get the waiting mark. My friends, a few of my like very close friends knew, but other than that, I was like, I want to tell people like why I went to London 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I know you worked really closely with your on-screen parents, Vera Farmiga and Brian Darcy James, and while filming the opening scene. And I know you've been talking a little on Instagram about your filming experiences with them and, what you learned from them. And, they're two obviously really great actors. And, I've loved both of them in different projects for a really long time. Was there anything specific you really learned from them or you took away from them while you were doing your scenes together?
Yeah, definitely. So it was my first day filming, and I was supposed to film a scene, but they changed the order. So instead of filming with Viera for my first scene, I was filming with Brian. So we didn't know that we were doing that scene. So like Brian made like a few little mistakes, but I was really nervous since it was my first day. But then he was telling me like, see, it's okay to make mistakes, and like you're doing great. So that really boosted my confidence. And with Viera, she definitely conveyed a feeling of like taking care of me. Like for the funeral scene, I get really cold like really easily, and it was like freezing because we were outside. But like she was trying to get me coats and everything, and she was trying to like tell people that I was freezing, and she was really helping me out. She also stayed in character like in between the takes, even though we weren't filming, and I thought that was really cool. I thought it was a way of like trying to really be in the character, and like so I learned from them it's okay to make mistakes, and take care of your fellow actors as well as try and really experiment with your characters. So yeah, they were really great.
Pretty cool though. And I was reading, because I was reading some stuff about how Florence Pugh would like stay in her Russian accent while she was filming her Yelena scenes because like I guess she would go out to dinner with like the cast and stuff. And I was reading how like she said that she kind of did the same thing that Vera did. Like it was hard for her to like get in and out of it. So she's like, I'm just going to stay in it. So it's a good technique.
Yeah.
Right. Do you have any fun behind the scenes moments or like film experiences that happen while you were filming? I know there must have been a ton of them, but like, what do you think people would be excited to know about? Hawkeye fans, Kate Bishop fans would be excited to kind of learn from a little like behind the scenes secrets.
In the long shot with the explosion, everything, we had to get everything right. If one thing went wrong, we had to redo it, and we were on a time crunch because since I'm a kid, I could only work for a certain amount of hours legally until I had to take a break. So the adrenaline was pumping. I really wanted to get it right. And upstairs, it was I felt something sharp on my foot, but I didn't want to stop because I knew we had to get it done. So I just continued. And at the end, I was like, I wonder what that was. So I looked at my foot and there was like a bunch of blood and I was like bleeding. Something must have cut me. But they were like super nice about it and they definitely helped me. But it was cool because that was the scene they ended up using, was the one where I cut my foot. And I was like, no way, because I must have flinched or something. But yeah.
And you made it through that whole scene?
Yeah, I tried my best. It didn't hurt that much at the time. I was just really surprised that it was bleeding so much. But yeah.
That's some very like super heroic acting.
Thank you. Yeah, it was really fun.
I know that like with big productions like this, not everyone films at the same time. You know, people have different units. Some people film in Atlanta, some people film in New York. But did you get kind of any direction either from the director or from the other actors about kind of how to play, you know, little Kate just in terms of Haley's like emotions or how she might respond to things like as the adult version of you, or was it more like you just kind of used your best instincts about this character to play her to like the best of your ability?
I didn't get much direction based off of how adult Kate played it, but I definitely got direction from Reese. Like in the funeral scene, for some takes I had to play it really sad and vulnerable, but then for other takes I had to play it like strong and courageous. So it was really cool to like experiment because like those little tweaks can like change your whole perspective of the scene. So it was really cool to like be in different characters, and I would like experiment with like how I was feeling because that changed like my facial expressions, and yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah, and that one funeral scene is so like so powerful. The screening when I went to LA and saw it like for the first time, like not like alone in my
Yeah.
office with my computer, everyone was like cheering when you said a line about I need a bow and arrow.
Yeah, it was really cool to film.
Were you a fan of the Marvel movies before you got cast, or like familiar with specifically like Hawkeye characters or comics?
It wasn't, I mean, my friend is like a huge Marvel fan, so I knew like the basic characters, but I didn't know much about it. But right when I got the call, I instantly got the Hawkeye comic and read it. I love that. And my mom like binge watched all the Marvel stuff. She could explain to me what was happening, and now I'm getting really into it, and I love Hawkeye. Yeah.
Good. I'm because these are some of my favorite movies, and I love how they weave everything together, and they're just such like an epic scale, and the TV shows are doing the same thing that the movies are doing. They're doing such cool like big scale stuff, and it's
Yeah.
so much fun. I know you've also done theater work, and you know I'm a huge Broadway lover, huge lover of theater. Part of the reason I moved to New York so many years ago was literally to go to Broadway all the time. Was there anything that you learned from like your previous theater experiences that you turned to when you were preparing to play Little Kate?
Yeah, so I played Matilda in Matilda the musical, off Broadway somewhere, and Little Kate and Matilda are like very different characters, but they definitely have some similar stuff. Like they both have gone through traumatic child experiences, and I feel like they both have that spark of energy, and both really like are just super courageous and like brave to do stuff. So I definitely tried to convey some of that Matilda character traits in my performance on Hawkeye.
Awesome. And you've
Yeah.
also done TV work, and you know you've done Madam Secretary, and Bull and Almost Family, and you are no stranger to set life. Was working on Hawkeye a different experience than working on like the network shows, or was it pretty similar across the board in terms of kind of how the day worked or how the direction was and stuff like that?
It was pretty similar. I mean, everyone on all sets I've been on were super nice to me and definitely tried to help me in every way possible. But I feel like Hawkeye was all the sets I've been on, but like 10 times bigger, just because like it was there was just such there was more people on the crew, and there was like a bigger set with like explosions, everything. And but I feel like all the sets I've been on have led up to Hawkeye, and I'm just really grateful for all the experience I've had that like led me to this. So it's similar and different in ways.
What was because you're talking about like all the, it's such like a bigger spectacle with like all the stuff that goes into making those like big opening sequences, like the one you were in. What was your experience the first time you saw it? Were you like blown away with all the effects and like how everything came together?
Yeah, so I was like really scared to watch it because I get like kind of nervous to watch myself. I don't know, I kind of feel weird. So I was kind of nervous. I was kind of getting stressed, but I was really excited, and I watched it on my TV right there, and it was just so exciting because it was just really cool to see me in the opening scene, and I was just like thinking this is so cool, and I'm just like so grateful to have that, and it was really exciting. It was weird, but it was exciting, and I love how they all tied it together. It was like really cool because like I feel like the way like I filmed it and then the way it came on screen was like really different. It was really cool.
And I know you can't tell us if we're going to see more of Little Kate. I know there's only 2 episodes left, but there might be, who knows, maybe there's going to be a season 2, maybe there's more story. But if we were to see more of you, is there something that you'd want to explore about like Little Kate's life, or like or someone you'd really want to work with if you came back?
Yeah. So if you notice in the first episode of Hawkeye, the intro shows like little animations of like Kate growing up and like training with like her bow and arrow and stuff. And I think that would be really cool to film if like Kate got her own series or like movie about how she trained and like that time between like 8-year-old Kate and then like Kate in her 20s, to see how she dealt with her dad passing. Um, and just like her training to become who she is. I think that would be really cool. And I think that would be so fun to film, like with the bow and arrow, everything. That would be really cool. So that might be fun to see.
Yeah, and you get to do all like the training, the karate stuff, like all the archery stuff. I would love that. And like in the comics, it's so fun to watch Kate like do, kind of grow up and learn how to be like this awesome superhero. So it would be great to see that from like on the show, especially kind of see where she got to where she is. Thank you so much for talking with me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much to all of my monetary supporters, my members here on YouTube, as well as my patrons. If you haven't joined yet, please consider doing so. We have some really awesome perks, including a monthly Zoom meeting where we get to talk face to face. Thank you again to everyone who supports me.